Have you been considering Utah as a place for your retirement years? After all, we ranked #2 in the country in a recent article. A couple weeks ago, I did a video listing the top 5, the top 10. After all, Utah is a great state and it has a lot to offer retirees, but there are some things to consider. So on this video, I'm going to cover the pros, but I'm also going to cover the cons if you're considering retiring in Utah. So stay tuned. I've got some interesting cons to cover. So let's get after it right now. Welcome to the Living in Utah channel. I'm Mike Gallagher. I'm a local real estate agent right here in the local area. And if you do consider retiring in the state of Utah and you need any assistance buying or selling real estate, I'll put our contact information right here on the screen. It's also in the show notes. So just give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email. Glad to help any way that we can. As we get started, let's cover the pros first. First on my list, we have excellent healthcare facilities. Utah typically ranks very high in most of the reports that you see when it comes to healthcare. And I have personal experience being a patient, and I cannot be happier. As we grow older, we need healthcare. It's very important, and the state of Utah gets great marks when it comes to healthcare. Coming in at #2 on my list, the cost of living. Now this one is always a big debate. There are people who live in the state of Utah that say it is unaffordable. But when you look at the national reports, Utah comes in pretty good condition. It's relatively affordable, especially when you compare us to areas like California, New York, and many other areas. I do have a video on my channel on the cost of living where I break down my actual bills, my electric bill, my gas bill, my cable bill, and many other items. The video is about a year and a half old, but it's still a great watch. Coming in #3 on my list, you can live in the country, you can live in the city, or you can live up in the mountains. There are big cities like St. George, Provo, Salt Lake City, and Ogden. If you want the city life with all the amenities, you can also live in the country. You can live in areas where you may not see a neighbor for a quarter mile, half a mile down the road. Then you have a mix. There are some cities just outside the big cities that I consider like a hybrid model. A lot of residential homes and a little bit of commercial without some of the big city sky rises and everything else that you would find in like Salt Lake City. If you would like to live up in the mountains just above Salt Lake City, you can live in Park City, Deer Valley, Heber City, some great cities. Just above Ogden, you can live in Eden, Huntsville, or Liberty, some great cities also. Coming in at #4 on my list, low property taxes. So if you plan on owning your own home in retirement, you'll be happy to know that property taxes in Utah are pretty low when you compare us to some other states. As always though, taxes do fluctuate and they can change at any time. But in general, we have some of the lower property taxes in the country. Coming in at #5 on my list, I'm going to call this one leisure activities. After all, in your retirement years, you probably would like to stay active and healthy as possible. Well, here we have just about any activity that you are looking for. You name it, we probably have it here. Hiking, mountain biking, you can go camping, you can go hunting, you can go fishing, you can go boating. Can't forget about the winter sports, you can go skiing. If you enjoy the off-road adventures, you can purchase a UTV or ATV or a dirt bike and explore the outdoor adventures. You can also go rock climbing. You can go snowboarding, you can go skydiving, and the list goes on and on. I probably have missed a few items. Utah is basically an outdoor paradise. And if that's not enough, we have 5 national parks for you to visit. Coming in at #6 on my list, you will experience 4 seasons. And if you live in southern Utah, yes, you still will experience 4 seasons. During the winter months, it does get a little cool down there. You may see the occasional snowflake. Also, we live in a low humidity area, so if high humidity is not your thing, we are a low humidity state. And #7 on my list, this is one of my favorites, and if you want to learn more about living in the state of Utah, you may consider tapping that subscribe button down below, hitting that bell notification. YouTube will send you an alert when I release a new video. So #7 on my list, we are a low crime area. Does anyone want to live in a high crime area? Let me know in the comments down below. our crime rate falls well below the national average. And I think that is a great thing for all age groups, not just retirees. Now, when I say it is a low crime area, we do have some crime. We are just lower than many other states. We are also lower than what the national average is. Coming in at number 8 on my list, strong economy. Yes, Utah has a very strong economy. So if you're looking for work or you would like to start a business in your retirement years, Utah has plenty of opportunities. I actually know somebody who moved to the state of Utah, purchased an Airbnb, and give him something to do during his retirement years mostly. I don't really think he needed the extra money, but he does enjoy when people move out, going over, he washes the sheet, cleans the place, stocks it with coffee and paper towels and everything else. Gives him something to do, and he's really enjoying it. Coming in at number 9 on my list, transportation. Over the last decade, or maybe longer, Utah has invested heavily in updating its highways and has spent a bundle of money on mass transit. So if you do not want to drive, or maybe you don't have a car, we have an efficient light rail train system, and we have some great bus routes connecting most of our major cities. Let's move over to the cons of retiring in Utah. Yes, there are some cons. And first on my list, let's talk about traffic. Yes, number 9 on my list, we were talking about transportation, but also as a con, the traffic. With the growth that we've had, enormous growth, our traffic has increased pretty much throughout the state. So, depending on where you live, you may experience some slow and go traffic from time to time, especially during the rush hours where people are coming or going from work. Coming in number 2 on my list, weather. Yes, weather was also a pro on my list because we had a true 4 seasons, but it can also be a con for some people. If you live in northern Utah during the winter months, it does snow, so we do receive snowfall. If you're living in southern Utah during the summer months, you will experience some extreme heat, 110, 115 degree temperatures. I do have a little solution. You could always buy 2 homes, one in the north, one in the south. Coming in at number 3 on my list, we have some wacky alcohol laws. Yes, I will admit, we probably have the wackiest laws in the country that I can think of. I'll try to explain. Let's say, for instance, you need beer. No problem. You can go to your local gas station, grocery store, or even Costco. You can buy beer. But if you need hard liquor, it is only sold in the state liquor stores. So, if you need a bottle of Crown Royal or a bottle of vodka on a Sunday, well, the liquor store is closed. So you have to plan ahead, especially during the holiday season. They do close for some of the holidays. You have to buy your liquor in advance. And if you plan on throwing those parties and at 2 in the morning, you need some more liquor, well, the liquor store will be closed. Coming in at number 4 on my list, housing prices. As the population has increased, so has the cost of housing, whether you're purchasing a home or renting. But even with these increases, when we look at home prices, they are still reasonably priced when you compare them to many other major cities around the country. But when we have rising GDP, rising population, and our employment is rising, it puts an upper pressure on housing, whether you are buying or you are renting. Now, the economists that predict what the housing prices will be in the future, they anticipate the pricing to increase as we go into further years. Con number 5 on my list, taxes. Yes, earlier I did say that property taxes were very reasonable. Yes, they are. But we do have some other taxes. The state, has to collect some revenue somehow. Sales tax, on average, is about 7.25%. Some areas might be a little lower, a little bit higher. The individual cities and counties can add a little bit on or take away a little bit. It's probably low compared to states like California, but I'm sure there's other states around the country that has a lower sales tax rate. When it comes to groceries, though, you do not pay the full 7.25%. You pay a reduced rate on groceries. And right now, the state has a windfall of money. They have some excess cash laying around, and they are talking about possibly removing the sales tax on groceries. It has not been passed. It's not law. I'll let you know if it does become law. That also leads us to another tax. We do have a state income tax. Yes, it is a flat tax. It's currently about 4.95%. The state is also talking about possibly lowering that number. Has not been approved, has not been passed into law. 4.95%. When I look at states like California, I was told that the top rate is 13%, and they are looking at raising that to 17%. So I guess 4.95% isn't too bad in my books. In conclusion, that's some of the pros and cons of retiring in the state of Utah. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Really appreciate that. If you have any kind of questions, by all means, reach out to me. Glad to answer anything that I can. And until the next video, take care. Stay safe.